Okay, so going on a bike ride. Don't have much time. We have a couple things we can talk about. My options are the story of David or the bear story. I was chased by a bear. I know it's going to be hard to believe, but I got two other people to concur, because all three of us were chased by a bear. So we're going to go with the bear story. Hopefully we can crank this out before the battery runs out. We were up in the Catskills. All my old buddies. They went up to this same campground. Everyone had a camper up at the same place. I wish I could remember the name of it, but I visited probably 10, 15 times. They would go up there for the weekends and enjoy their ATV rides. They had four-wheelers, and they would party it up every weekend. Head up on Friday and just have a blast all weekend. So they would have a blast all weekend, rednecking it up, campfires and s'mores and guitar playing around the campfire, etc. Those were the good old days, and life was good. Everyone brought their kids up to the campsite, and life was fantastic. And I'm sure there's a lot of kids that have good memories of that, you know? They're gonna remember being a kid and going up there forever. Anyway, me, Jim, and James, we were on ATVs. Every time I went up there, I would ask them if they ever got over the mountain on the ATVs, and they would always say they never made it. So every time I went, I'd say, you know, let's go. Becca wants to be the first to do it. Get over the mountain. But it was a weird mountain. The way it went up was kind of like you would go up a steep slope and then it would level off for 300 feet or so, 200 feet. Then up another steep slope, then level off and up. And you would go as high as you could until you could go no higher. And the trail ran out. So one day, the three of us, we went up, we tried to get to the top. So we bailed out on the ATVs, we parked them way up the mountain, and then we started walking, figuring no one's gonna find the ATVs, obviously. So we start walking up the hills, and I remember we came to this cubby. There was a huge rock, and underneath it was a bunch of pellets which looked like deer. We were concluding it was deer poop. I don't know, maybe it was bear poop, who knows. I don't know if it was bear poop or not, because it was tiny pellets, so I thought it was a deer cubby. So we walked past a little cave there and kept on going up. At one point I climbed a tree, and I got pretty high up this tree to be able to look out on the mountain. And actually, when I did look up out over the mountain, as soon as I got up and peered through this tree, I'm like yelling to them, dudes, we're not even halfway up this damn mountain. I mean, we thought we were at the very peak, and we were probably 3/4 of the way up. And so I climbed back down, and we head up another steep slope, and then level off, and then another one, and then we kind of gave up. So we're on our way back, and I'm ahead of Jim and James. They're lollygagging it behind me. So we're on a plateau section, and I'm probably 150 feet ahead of them, and I get to where the next drop off is, and I get to the overhang and I look down. Anyway, I look over the down the next steep slope, and I see 3 bears, a mama and 2 baby bears, and I'm like, holy shit. So I step back, I get down on my stomach, and I'm peering over the edge, and I get my camera, which is around my neck. My camera's around my neck. I can't believe it. Pull out the camera, and I go to I put my finger on the shutter, and then I said, oh no, I can't press the button because it's going to make the beep beep sound, and the bears will hear it, and then the bear's going to chase us and kill us. So I didn't want to do that. I chickened out on the sound, on the taking the picture. I didn't take the picture. So let's I said, let me wait here until they get here. I'm looking at the bears, checking. They're just milling around down there. It's probably about 120 feet down. And I'm like, wait a second, those guys are talking. I can hear them talking behind me. So I crawl backwards, I get up and I go run to them, and I stop them. I say, there's a bear down there, man. There's a bear right over the edge there, down at the bottom. And they're like, what? Get the fuck out of here. So I said, just be quiet, there's a bear right down there. So we get to the edge, we peer down, and there's no bears. So I'm like, I'm telling you, there was 3 bears there 2 minutes ago, 60 seconds ago. 3 black bears. So Jay says, Jay is James, and then there's Jimmy Riley and James O'Reilly. So James says, were they black or brown? And I'm like, I don't know, they were brown. I don't know. Nah, there's no brown bears up here. You're fucking drunk or high, one or the other. There's no brown bears up here. Let's just go. So we start walking down the slope there, trying to get back to our ATVs, and I'm like, I'm telling you, there were 3 bears here a minute ago. Anyway, we walk down, we get to the plateau, no bears, walk all the way to the end of the plateau, go down the next slope. Now we can't find the ATVs. We go down 3 levels, can't find the ATVs. So I said, let's go back up and let's find that cubby where the deer apparently lived, and let's make our way back down from there, because we know it's directly straight underneath the cubby. So we head all the way back up. I, of course, am ahead again. I'm a whole full slope ahead of them on the next plateau. They're way down. I find the cubby, I turn around, I start to come back. I don't see them anywhere. I get to the next plateau, I'm looking down, I don't see them anywhere. Then all of a sudden I hear some screaming. And I'm like, I immediately just thought of the bears. So I run down the whole slope. I get to the next plateau. Now their screams are getting louder. I get to the next steep drop, and I hear them screaming to my right. And I look over there, and I'm kind of fiddling my way down the hill, and here they come from my right. They're running right to left in front of me, and they're running very fast. So I start jogging down the hill, and when I get within 50 feet of them, they start yelling, "There's a bear!" I can't stop laughing just thinking about this memory. This was, I mean, we were dying afterward. Anyway, almost literally, but so when they said there's a bear, I was just about within 50 feet of them, and I continued down the slope to run into them, and I meet up with them, and I'm jogging along with them, and I'm like, well, I don't see one back there. And they say, oh, there is, I'm sure. So I'm thinking they're jerking me off, making a joke that they saw the bear. So what happens? I keep looking back as we're jogging, and all of a sudden I see the bear. And I take off like the space shuttle. And I left them completely in the dust. They're running as hard as, I mean, they drink a lot of beer. I don't drink beer like that, never did. So they got a lot of beer in their gut they're toting around. So I take off like the space shuttle. I'm probably about 50 feet ahead of them. And, you know, the story goes, which is true, they start yelling back, "Becker, you're an asshole! You're just gonna let us die back here! You're a fucking douchebag! You're a fucking asshole!" So of course I slow down, and we kind of went over this little slope on this plateau, and I stop, they catch me, we look back, there's no bear. And we're like, holy shit, do you believe that just happened? She must have been chasing us away from her kids. Oh my God, that was unbelievable. And I'm looking back towards where the bear was. They're looking towards me, sweating and just dripping in sweat, and they're out of their minds. And all of a sudden I see the bear come up over the little horizon there. I'm like, there he is! And Becker takes off again like the space shuttle. So we went another who knows how far, 500 feet, I don't know, whatever. I have a camera around my neck. Don't forget that. Still haven't taken a picture yet. What a fucking loser, excuse my language, but what a stupid... I'm sure not a nature guy, because those guys know how to stop in the moment and take that, snap that picture. Snap that picture! Would have been the best picture of all time to have a picture of that bear chasing behind Jim and James. Would have been the all-time picture. Would have been viral these days. I would have had a viral picture that nobody, probably the whole world would have seen that picture by now. But of course I didn't snap it. So what happens next? I remember we're running again. I took off like the space shuttle. We're running over pretty big boulders, and I mean, it was not easy running. So I wind up tripping over these boulders and slamming into rocks, and just I'm all over the place on the ground. Camera still around my neck. They catch me. They're like, we gotta head down to the water, down to the creek. Here comes the bear again. We start running our asses off. Again, I'm way ahead of those guys. They start yelling, "You're gonna leave us die again, Becker." So they're yelling at me, go down to the right, go down towards the stream. I head down to the stream. I get across the stream first, it's a steep downhill, then across the stream and on the other side. And here they come down the hill. I'm already on the other side. I pick up this big rock that I want to hurl at the bear. Still not thinking that I should be taking pictures of this whole event as we're being chased by a bear. So I hurl the rock over there. I miss the bear, but the bear was literally probably 30-40 feet behind Jay and Jim. Unbelievable. What a view I had of that, obviously. So as soon as they get across the water, I threw another rock or two. The bear was going slow, and as you know, the best way to get away from a bear is to run downhill, never run uphill, because they have a hard time running downhill because their front legs are shorter than the back, so downhill is difficult. Uphill you're dead. Anyway, obviously the bear could have killed us, could have caught us in a split second on the plateaus that we were running, but the bear clearly just wanted us away from the kids and was doing the chase off. Wasn't out to kill anybody, thank God. So anyway, we got across and we ran down that whole damn what do you call it, the whole damn creek, all the way to the bottom. We ran all the way back to camp, at least a mile and a half. And boy, we were huffing and puffing. We come into camp and telling people we got chased by a bear. People looking at us like, what the fuck? Well, we left our ATVs 2 miles up the fucking mountain, so obviously something did happen. So everyone did believe us. We told the story 22 times at the campsite. We had to borrow some guy's ATV to go up there looking for the bikes again. Four-wheelers. We did find one that night. The next morning, Jim and Jimmy took those two back up, and somebody else went up with them. Well, no, they just took one. The two of them went up and they found the other ATV and brought them back down. But yeah, point of the story is Becker didn't take the picture. What a dipshit. What a dumb. I had my finger on the shutter. I didn't pull the damn trigger. Man, I make the worst decisions, I'll tell you. That one decision right there costed me one of probably the most awesome pictures that would have been taken in the course of humanity. There would have been memes done on that picture. I mean, it would have been, it was like seeing Laurel and Hardy running from a bear, and I would have had that perfect shot with the bear behind him. I cannot believe I missed that opportunity.